Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hi everyone, this is Joanne Kandrak with Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. Today we're talking about tips on designing a great home office. It is episode 22. So believe this or not, an estimated 3 million Americans work from home. So a lot of people that work from home say that they are more productive because they're not like in a loud environment. They're not distracted by annoying coworkers. And there are definitely some advantages to working from home. Here, if you're in Atlanta, you can avoid a nightmare commute.
Like mine this morning.
And getting to work in your PJs. That's what I'm all about. And there's a lot of statistics on working from home. Like employers say that they see fewer sick days from their employees. Employees tend to like their jobs when they have the flexibility. And obviously they spend less money on office space for people that are, working from home full time. So home offices can be used in a lot of different ways.
We've seen it. I mean, of course, running a business, many full-time jobs are now at home. A lot of people can telecommute now. So just maybe 2 days a week at home, the rest in the office. Or we'll talk about just a small space in your home to be your office. Even if it's just a place to pay bills or just organize kids' activities and what's happening in your life.
Yeah, like command central for the home.
Yeah, but we've talked to how many other entrepreneurs where they're running an amazing business and they're selling. Like I remember talking to Stacy Kungster with Dunes and Duchess long ago, and she has the most amazing lamps and tables and she's just, it's just amazing. And we were talking to her and she's like, oh yeah, it's all out of my garage. I'm like, there's no possible way that you are running this amazing empire, it seemed like, out of your garage. So, I sit at my kitchen table with my laptop and I bill clients. What? So
I guess some people can do that, but, if it really is probably going to be the most productive place in your home. So you really need to figure out a way to make it work. To me, one of the biggest advantages to being productive would be having a good location in your house. Like you don't want to be right off of the laundry room, or you don't want to be in a space where, kids are playing. Like you need a quiet place that you can, concentrate and separate from, all the home activity going on.
Me, I'll put a load of laundry in if you give me the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get really distracted that way.
But I would say the very first thing to concentrate on, and we talk about this all the time, is lighting. Natural light, I think, is best for just mood and productivity and an overall feeling of positivity. But there's so many other different kinds of lighting to focus on in your office. You've got the ambient lighting, which is your overhead that's filling most of the room. And it can be, a lot of times on a dimmer, so you can create that mood that you need that day. Or you've got accent lighting, so that's more specifically if you need to feature a bookcase or a fireplace or a special piece of art or whatnot. And then most importantly, task lighting, which is for a very specific purpose, like on your desk. So we've been doing a lot of these very sleek, contemporary LED desk lights for our clients in their offices, where there's a lot of controls in terms of brightness, dimming, temperature of the light, all different kinds of things to help you. And your eyes, especially. My eyes get so tired because we sit on the days that we're in the office. I mean, my husband's like, you need to get up and go outside and walk. Like, we sit in front of that computer for hours.
Yeah. Luckily, we have some really good natural light in our office, so that helps. But a good view is extremely important, too. You don't, and I know a lot of people probably do, like, they don't want to maybe use the room of their home, and they're going to go down in the basement where it's like a dungeon. And that's very, it can be dark and gloomy. So if you can get the natural light and have, a nice view, that will really help your psyche a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, storage, you don't want to have things all over the place. They say cluttered space can mean a cluttered mind, but you want to keep everything as tidy as possible and organized and, have a place for everything.
And, that's a very personal thing because when we were in our last house, my husband, he worked in the basement, which would have made me absolutely crazy. And he's the kind of guy where his desk is a complete disaster and then he cleans it up before the housekeeper comes. But I'm like, how can you focus with all this stuff all over your desk? He's like, I'm looking at my computer. I'm focused on my computer. I'm like, you don't see all the other stuff in the periphery of your vision all over the place? Like, I cannot function that way. But he may say that that's fine with him, but I'm telling you, if his desk was clear, I'll bet you his mind would be clearer.
So, purchasing office furniture that works well for you. Some people like an L desk. Some people use like a big table. They like all that, to spread out. Or I would even consider a stand-up desk. I see more and more people do that.
Yes.
It's really kind of cool. And then one of the things that we always do is secure the cords underneath. Sometimes you'll walk into somebody's home office and there are wires everywhere.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, you've got to use zip ties. Tape them to underneath the table or desk. Find ways to get rid of those unsightly wires. And then investing in a good chair. I mean, you sit in that chair for a long time. We like the Think chair by Steelcase, if you want to look that one up.
Yeah, it's a good chair because you can really modify it to your body. There's a lot of choices. For example, do you want lumbar support that is flexible? Do you want the arms to go up and down to where you like it? Do you want,
if you get hot, there's one that has a vented back.
Yeah. But really, it's ergonomic design for desk chairs have come a long way, and I think it's definitely worth investing in a good chair for sure.
Cork boards and chalkboards, those are great if you need to be doing lists or need notes that are, where you can see them readily. Ballard's has some beautiful kind of like cork boards that are framed, if you want to make it look a little nicer. And then another space saving tip, my husband has this in office because he has 3 monitors. He has the little shelves where the monitor sits on top of that, so then you've got little storage space underneath.
Well, and what was it that we were at one of our multifamily communities, and Scott had that thing on his desk where...
Oh, it's called the Versa Desk.
The Versa Desk. So...
You can keep it as a regular 30, your 30-inch top table.
It was a desktop piece
yes.
he had.
And then you can raise it to stay, and it's at stand-up level. So if you've been sitting for too long, you're like, God, I got to get up. You can raise it up.
So he had a regular desk. This sat on his desk, and his computer was on top of this.
Yes. I've seen a lot of ads for this on Amazon. Versa Desk. It sounds like a pretty cool thing. I think we should get that for our office.
We probably should because it's bad to be sitting all the time.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if men, will really think this is very fun, but I love having like this, like my pencils organized in a cool, like people use mason jars for their paper clips or whatever, but using maybe like vintage cups, not your typical, black cup for your pencils.
Yeah.
Do something that's a little more decorative or a little more fun and just kind of make it more, just kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I also I generally don't like cork boards because I'm such a neat freak and things get really messy, but I do have a decorative one over top of my desk. But I love it because I don't have a ton of work stuff on there per se. I have a lot of motivational quotes. I've got photographs like at us at industry events that make me laugh when I look at them. I've got my dog that passed away. I just like to have her there with me, just things like that.
So it's a little more personal.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your, to do Post-it notes or what have you.
Yeah.
So,
and then, like we're talking about, the aesthetics of your office. I mean, paint the room a color that you love. Try to surround yourself, with as much beauty as possible. It really helps your mood. a dark blah color, just because it's the home office. It doesn't mean that it needs to be like a blah kind of dark, depressing color. So, and then fill those walls with, like Kelly's saying, with art, things that are meaningful to you, inspirational quotes or
family pictures, whatever.
Yeah.
Places like for we both have on our bulletin boards is we have our vision boards. We used to do these big boards every year, and now we've kind of made them smaller because we use, Keynote on our Macs, and we can creatively make these really pretty vision boards. But it's always, I laminate it because, again, I'm totally anal like that. But it's on my bulletin board, and I have to look at it every day. Like, oh my God, I haven't been drinking enough water.
There's a couple of websites you can go to find art that's pretty reasonable and that's really kind of fun and motivational. Minted.com, I think we've mentioned them before, but there's another one called 20by200.com. And they have every subject you could possibly want. The prices are great. Check that out. It's really pretty cool.
And I'm also a big fan of greenery. It purifies the air. It boosts your productivity. It's a great, it's bringing nature in when you're, closed up all day. But there's 4 plants that kind of are good for home offices, good for inside. First is the spider plant. Second is a lemon balm. Third is a philodendron. And 4 is a peace lily. Although I can never keep peace lilies alive, but I see them in the office.
I was going to say
all the time.
Most of them are pretty easy to take care of.
Yeah.
And then the succulents.
They're my
If you have a good
fave.
window, they're awesome.
Lots of light. Water them like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it just does something.
But if it's going downhill and it's all crusty, dying, please get it out of there. It'll do the opposite effect to you.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand those brown leaves. It drives me crazy. And then another way is to add color. Once again, color boosts energy. It brings some happy, do it with rugs, window treatment. Speaking of window treatments, I was talking to, my buddy Russ, our tech engineer, and he was telling me when he helps people set up studios, they need all the soundproofing and stuff, and he used to do something with egg crates and ceiling tiles, but now what they do is they use IKEA curtains. They hang the rods all the way at the top, and they just line the room with curtains. And IKEA is, really reasonable. They're just kind of like a sailcloth or whatever, and that is great for sound absorption. So if you need that, it doesn't have to be a studio, I guess, but if you need for soundproofing, that's a great way to do it. And window treatments, even just for, to finish off the room and make it look pretty.
Absolutely. But and also I always like when I worked at home. I don't anymore, but I love to have a comfortable chair for taking breaks. Or my husband or my kids would come in and talk to me when I wasn't done working yet, and it gave them a place to be. But the other thing I was thinking about, side note, is all the home offices we've done for clients. And we have this one client, and she has this beautiful office that's filled with light. We helped her out with it, and she does a lot of Skyping and a lot of recording and that kind of thing. So, but she's got 2 little kids, and so you would never know this, but she's kind of running around a lot, and she always looks great from the waist up, and her office is great from the waist up. So where she's recording, like in the back of her, she's got this cool acrylic sign of her company, and she's got this bookcase that's all accessorized, but
she looks like she's in a TV studio.
Totally. I mean, it looks so great, but the rest of the office...
And she's got these raggedy shorts on.
Yeah, and the rest of the office is kind of a disaster because she's just working on a million things and stuff. But from what people can see, when she's recording, it looks really good.
Yeah.
And then how about when we did his office, and it was such a cluster when we walked in, and he was so happy when we left. Everything was so organized.
He was one of the ones that had wires literally all over the place. Sometimes you get just kind of caught up in your everyday, and it's so overwhelming you just don't even know where to start. I'm telling you what, if just hiding those wires gives you a feeling of calm. I don't know what it is.
Well, and we did a couple different things. We found this great desk for him, but it didn't have it had a drawer that pulled out, but it didn't, flip down so that he could put his keyboard in there. So we just had our
buddy Mitch,
our buddy Mitch,
carpenter man,
came and kind of cut that drawer and put hinges in it so that it could drop down. And then I think it didn't end up, he didn't need it, but we were going to add extra grommets, just drill extra holes in the back of his desk so that we could slide all his multitude of wires down the wall. So just organizing those wires alone was a big relief for him.
Yes.
And then, so now we're working on a guy who has a small office in his basement, and he runs 2 businesses, and his wife assists him. So this is one of those offices that I just had to step back and think only about his functionality and what he wanted, because there's no way to make it beautiful the way he wants it.
He had to have the treadmill in there. And that was his way, maybe rather than having the comfortable chair to relax, him getting on the treadmill was something that he needed to do. So this office isn't going to be in-house beautiful.
No, it's not. But it's going to be great for him. And there was a few requests that he had. One is he wants 2 executive desks so that his wife can work beside him, or he can just stretch out if he needs to. But he needed those desks to be really deep. And when you start looking at desks, it's something to pay attention to. And this is a personal style thing, because a lot of desks, when we started looking, there's writing desks, there's executive desks, and some are as narrow as 24 inches. And once you put your laptop up there, or if you have a monitor, you're losing a lot of that spread out space. So I think the desks that we finalized for him are 31 or 30 or more inches deep. He needed a ton of lateral file space, and he's not a particularly neat guy. Well, he's not, let's just say, he's not going to have all the same color binders with matching titles on the spines like we do here at our office. So he wanted his binders behind a cabinet. So he had all these particular requests. He needed a project board. And there's a lot of companies where you can get a whiteboard that is completely customized to you. So if he wanted it to be broken up in terms of half of it be a calendar, half of it be a project board, columns, he can do whatever he wants on that project board and make it just the way he wants it. So it was really great, kind of, once I got it out of my head that this aesthetically wasn't going to be, in a magazine or anything, and just really helping him function exactly the way he needed to be, he needed it to be. And then he had all these things that meant something to him that he'd never hung on the wall, his UVA diploma and his CPA and these great caricatures of his kids. And so we're doing a big gallery over his desk, so when he looks up, he's got something really pretty to look at.
I think, hanging the diplomas, hanging awards, that's, kudos to you. You need to, kind of show those. And the one guy's office that we did, he had a lot of degrees and he had a lot of awards. So show him off.
Yeah. And, my husband works for Apple, and he's worked for them for, oh my gosh, I can't keep up now. I want to say it's 16 years, but he has these beautiful, mostly crystal and glass awards. So he's got them all on these shelves, and they're really motivating to him. He likes to look at them. They're pretty, and it's mixed in with little things that the kids have given him over the years and whatnot. But
the function, it is about that. A lot of times people will take depending on the type of home you have, but if you have the typical kind of 2-story, you walk in the front door and your dining room may be to your left and your what they call a living room is to your right, that most people don't really use. But that's where my home office is. I went ahead and put French doors on those. But the other thing is, a lot of times if this is where your home office is, and this is the front door, you need to make sure that it looks, that it looks decent and at least tidied up or whatever. So, whether it be cabinets that you can close things off, or
do you have blinds or Roman shades on your French doors?
No, I don't.
You just keep it pretty
I
neat.
wanted to keep it, I like to keep it open. So, but if that's where you decide to do your home office, which is nice. I mean, I like being right on that first floor. I don't have kids at home anymore, so there's none of that. But, I have 2 windows, and the French doors, I can close off when I want it to be a little quieter. But a lot of people tend to use that. Or a lot of people will use a guest room upstairs of their home. And that's a nice place too. So
we just did one up kind of in a loft space. Here in Atlanta, a lot of times in the 2-story houses, you kind of come upstairs, and there's the hallway to the bedrooms will have a nook that's pretty substantial. So we did a really kind of modern desk that was really sleek, but it still had a locking lateral file. It still had the things that she needed. It was from Hooker, and I really, really liked it. And we mixed it with a console behind her that wasn't matching. It wasn't a typical desk console, but it gave her, she had a lot of books. She reads a lot, and she loves her knickknacks from her travels and stuff. So that was what all that was for. Yeah. And then we did she didn't need this, but we considered a matching lateral file to put next to her desk that the printer could sit on. So how many times have we seen printers sitting on the floor?
Yeah,
Drives
so
me
many
crazy.
times. Yeah.
So there's so many ways to do it, but I would put a lot of effort into it. It's your space for the day, and you got to be productive, and you got to be positive, and you know, I think it's kind of like bedrooms for people. It's that space they don't put a lot of investment.
But like
in.
I said, it's a place you need to be productive and go to almost every day. So
yeah.
Okay, so inspirational quote for the day. This is probably one of my absolute favorite ones. Of course, a lot of my favorite ones, the author is unknown. God, if I had come up with this, I surely would want people to know that it was me. But anyway, here it is. Happiness is the new rich. Inner peace is the new success. Health is the new wealth. And kindness is the new cool.
That is great.
I love that. I think that's great for young people who think being cool is, it's all about being cool, but being kind is cool. So,
and you know why I like that quote? Because we just got back from Guatemala just 36 hours ago, and we're going to talk about it a lot in our next show. But these kids that we were working with in this village are the dirtiest, scrappiest, poor little children you've ever seen. But you know what? They're so happy.
Yep.
They don't know what they don't have. They don't know what we have in America. They have their moms, and they have all their cousins and sisters and brothers.
And they all take care of each other.
They
it's
do.
So sweet.
And they're so happy, and they're peaceful. And I think that resonated with me a lot this week because, we work in a very luxurious industry, and it really gets your head space in the right place. And so that was a perfect quote.
That'd be a good one to put in your home office.
Oh, yes, it would. Right on your project board or your cork board over your desk, so you look at it.
There you go.
So we got back from Guatemala, and one of our really big clients was like, we need to have a meeting at 11 on Monday. And we were like, oh, God, wait, we're totally overwhelmed. We got to catch up. So we were gone all day, and this is our first day back in the office. So I don't have a funny quote. I'm not prepared. I looked forever when I was sitting in traffic this morning for that lovely hour. So
we'll make it up to you. I'll make
it up to you next time.
On the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are going to talk about our Guatemala trip next show.
Everybody wants to know about it.
Everybody wants to know about it. It was so incredible, and I think if you've never been on a mission trip or you have no idea what this is all about, listen in, because it's not as scary or
overwhelming. It's not as scary as you might think.
Yeah.
At least the ones we go on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Remember to check us out at candrac-cole.com, KANDRAC-KOLE, and we will chat with you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Candrac-Cole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at candrac-cole.com for more information.